All right, let's dive into one of the biggest challenges any company faces today, getting ready for a cyber attack. Because, let's be honest, in this day and age, it's really not a question of if you'll be a target, it's a question of when.
Okay, picture this. It's just a normal Tuesday afternoon. And then, bam, alerts start blowing up your system. The whole network is slowing to a crawl. You're literally watching your company's data get encrypted right in front of your eyes. And no, this is not a drill. And then the message pops up. This is what a modern ransomware attack looks like. We're talking 2 terabytes of your most sensitive info. Customer data, internal secrets, financial records. It's all in the hands of criminals now. They give you a deadline. Pay up, or they release everything to the public. So, what do? That crazy high-stakes scenario we just walked through, it is becoming terrifyingly common. For organizations big and small, a security breach isn't some far-off possibility anymore. It's practically an eventuality. And the thing that separates survival from absolute disaster, it pretty much always comes down to one thing: being prepared.
So how do you even get prepared for something like that? Well, it really starts with 2 key documents: an incident response plan, or IRP for short, and an incident response playbook. The best way to think about them is like this. One is your strategic blueprint, and the other is your tactical checklist for when everything hits the fan.
But what's the actual difference between the two? You might be thinking, aren't they kind of the same thing? Well, no, and it's a really crucial distinction, because in the heat of a real crisis, knowing which one to reach for and why, well, that can make all the difference in the world. Okay, this breaks it down perfectly. Your incident response plan, the IRP, that's your high-level blueprint. It's all about strategy. It defines the mission, the big objectives, and it tells you who to call. Legal, the CEO, your PR team. The playbook, though, that's your tactical checklist. It's the nitty-gritty step-by-step instructions for a specific kind of attack, like ransomware or phishing. It tells you what to do step by step right now.
So yeah, the IRP is your North Star. It sets the entire strategy and, importantly, it has to be signed off on by senior management. It basically defines your company's whole philosophy on how to handle a crisis and what a win even looks like. Think of it as the constitution for your entire incident response.
And the playbook? That's where the rubber meets the road. And you wouldn't just have one, right? You'd have a specific playbook for a ransomware attack, a different one for a massive data leak, and another one for, say, a denial of service attack. Each one is a super detailed, checklist-style action plan built for a very specific threat.
And wow, this image shows you exactly what I mean. A real-world playbook isn't some simple to-do list. It's a complex, detailed workflow. Just look at all those decision points. Questions like, is this a critical incident? Or, have we found all the affected machines? Each answer sends the team down a totally different path. It's literally guiding them through every single fork in the road during the chaos of an investigation.
Now, of course, you can have the best plans and playbooks in the world, but they're basically just paperweights without the right people to actually use them. Assembling your defense team is every bit as important as writing the documents themselves.
At the very heart of your response, you've got 3 key roles. First up, you have the Security Operations Center, or the SOC. These are your eyes and ears, your first line of defense that spots the threats. Then you have the Incident Manager. Think of them as the quarterback who calls the plays and coordinates everything. And finally, you've got the Computer Incident Response Team. These are your technical experts, the people in the trenches actually running the playbooks.
And that team? They are definitely not working in a silo. During a crisis, they become the central communications hub. They're talking to law enforcement, to software vendors, to customers, maybe even to the media. Coordination is absolutely everything.
All right, so you've got your plan, your playbooks, your team. You're done, right? You're all set? Nope, not even close. Now comes maybe the most important part of all. You've got to test it. You have to run the fire drills before the building is actually on fire.
And this quote just nails it. A plan can look amazing on paper, all neat and tidy, but you will never, ever know if it actually works until you put it under some real pressure. And trust me, you do not want the first time you test your plan to be during a real live attack.
So, that's the big question, isn't it? A plan on paper is just that, paper. How do you find out if your defenses are actually going to hold up when it really, truly counts?
Well, you do it in stages. It all starts with basic training sessions, just making sure everyone on the team knows their role inside and out.
Then you move on to tabletop exercises. This is where you talk through a crisis scenario in a conference room. And finally, you graduate to the big leagues, functional exercises. That's where you actively simulate parts of an attack to see how your people and your tech respond in a real, hands-on test.
And the goal of all this testing? It's actually really simple, but it is so important. You are proactively hunting for your own weaknesses. You're trying to find the blind spots in your defense before a real attacker does. Every single gap you find and fix during one of these drills is one less vulnerability an attacker can use against you.
And all of this brings us to the final and most crucial takeaway. See, preparation isn't a one-and-done project that you finish and then file away in a drawer. The threats out there are changing constantly, which means your plans have to be constantly tested, updated, and improved. It's a cycle.
So, let's just recap the big takeaways. First, you have to accept that a crisis is coming. It's inevitable. Second, you need both that strategic plan and those tactical playbooks. Third, you've got to build and empower a coordinated team to actually make it all happen. And finally, you can never, ever stop testing and improving. That's the cycle.
We started this whole thing by saying an attack is a matter of when, not if. So after everything we've talked about, the only real question left to ask is this: are you and is your organization truly ready for what's coming?